Well, hello there. I'm Roger Stenerson, Communications Director for Rising to Learn. I'm here today with Vanessa Wood. She's a school bus driver, but in that we have had a few minutes to talk before our interview, I would say she's a very special school bus driver. Vanessa, tell us a little bit about, you may not think you're special, but what is there special about the bus you drive and the route you have?
Um, Good morning. I am Vanessa Wood, and I am a Washington County school bus driver. And as Roger stated, I do have what I consider to be the most special route, my favorite route. So I do drive a special needs route of behavioral children. That was very much my first choice. I love each of these kids very dearly. Um, I was myself a behavioral kid. And so I understand very intimately, if you will, what it feels like to be judged, what it feels like to be labeled, what it feels like to be called, a bad kid or a problem child.
You
Um,
said something that I would like to focus on. You chose this route.
I did.
And Vanessa, with the shortage of school bus drivers, she probably could have driven almost any route that she would like to have driven. But this is a special challenge. Tell us a little bit about how you set the tone for your riders each day and in general.
So I have a few kind of rules of thumb, if you will, when it comes to my bus in particular. I do carry these in life too, but as they apply to my bus, the first one is that mercies, excuse me, and grace are brand new every morning. And so, myself and my attendants, we never ever bring yesterday's problems into today. So, if we have an experience where a child had a behavioral episode or incident, that stays in yesterday. And so the next morning, we smile and greet that child brand new. We never say words like, we're going to have a better day than yesterday. We just don't do that. We extend mercy and grace brand new. Um, the second thing is that we understand that no one has a good day every day. Even we don't have a good day every day, and we prepare for that. We know that. And the last thing, and probably the most important, is that we understand that love, grace, and compassion are not conditional. They're not based on a child's performance or how well they behave, because some of these children have difficult home lives, they come from difficult circumstances, maybe they had a bad day. So maybe they come from a difficult home experience in the morning, they come onto my bus, and then they go to school. Maybe they had a bad day at school. But I make sure that when they're on my bus, they always have that love, grace, and compassion experience.
And Vanessa, I'm thinking that our viewers here would not have expected of a school bus driver to hear those things. They might have heard about avoiding accidents or steering or shifting gears or a gradual braking, all those technical things. Chances are that what Vanessa just shared about her students was not expected. But it's very highly valued, I can tell you, by folks in schools and I think by families as well. But you recently spoke to the Board of Education about some issues of concern. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So when I started as a bus driver, there were a couple of things that I was kind of surprised by. The first was some wage differences between substitutes and full-time drivers. Um, and so I kind of expressed, why is it that substitutes make more? If they want people to stick around and become full time employees, it would make sense to me that when someone comes on as a full time employee, that, they should get an increase and, benefits and things like that.
Sure.
In doing some research and asking some questions, the answer that I was given was, well, we have to include the cost of the benefits in the wage. And while I understand and hear that, then the wage needs to be increased because while the benefits are lovely, I can't eat them and they don't pay my rent.
Sure.
And so taking a decrease in the take-home pay can wind up leaving people such as myself and other drivers in some dire financial situations. And like myself, I'm a single working mom. I don't have anyone to fall back on. I don't have a spouse or a significant other. And so sometimes that can create, a difficult situation. And so, I brought that up. I, of course, brought up behavioral situations on buses, not just on special needs buses, but on gen ed buses as well, that people just have no idea some of the behaviors that we as bus drivers endure on a daily basis. We've had very, very serious incidents of disrespect, of unsafe behavior, where attendants have been hurt, drivers have been assaulted, and there is a severe lack of accountability for those students. Another thing that I've run into is FAPE.
Yes.
FAPE law, which is free and public education, and that's something I hear a lot when we are talking about holding students accountable. And, it always comes back to, well, we can't deny them their free and public education. And while I don't disagree with that, my take as a bus driver is that transportation should be a privilege.
Yes.
And if a student, whether on a special needs or gen ed bus, is not able to comply with safety or appropriate behavior standards, then they should not be permitted to ride a bus. And that's not desiring to deny them their education. That's desiring to hold them accountable for their behavior and for their parents then to become involved in holding their child accountable and having them rise to the standards of safety and behavior.
Yeah. Well, what happened as a result of and you've spoke with the Board of Education 2 times, I believe.
Yes.
What has happened as a result of your presentations?
So the first time, nothing, which is why I returned. And after the second time, actually within a week after my second presentation, I was visited by 3 different individuals. Linda Murray, sitting member of the board, she came out first and rode my bus. And I got a chance to speak with her, lovely, lovely individual. After that, Dr. Savine, at the time,
Former superintendent of schools.
Former superintendent of Washington County. He also came out, had a wonderful experience with him also, got to speak with him. And then the day after that, Mike Gesford came and he
Also
rode.
a sitting board member.
Yep, sitting board member. And I had a wonderful experience with him, and I just got to share with each one of them kind of the same thing. These are the issues, this is what we're seeing. Some of the things that I already said about wages, about bus behavior, and the things that we're expected to do. And I think a lot of people don't really understand or know, but bus attendants only make between $17 and $19 an hour. Drivers only make between $21 and $23 an hour to start off with. And, drivers are required to hold a specialized driver's license and trainings and, our DOT physicals and things. So we don't make as much money as people believe that we do. Yeah. And yet these are the behaviors and things that we encounter daily. And I would ask and pose this question to anybody: would anyone here, any viewers, decide to get beat up daily for $17 to $19 an hour, or disrespected, or things thrown at them, or cussed out for $17 to $19 an hour, or $20-some an hour? I already know the answer.
Yeah,
the answer is no.
Well, you've talked a little bit about
Excuse me.
the issues. There is one more thing we'd like to ask you to address, and that is if you had an opportunity to provide advice to families about the role of transportation, student conduct, how things should be, what would you share with families about that?
Oh, this is such a great question. I would love to just be able to say to parents that they are so critical in this process. Parents are so important in the behavior of their children, and that when a bus driver specifically, steps off a bus to have a personal conversation with a parent, please listen, please take them seriously, because the difference between a school classroom and a bus is a few things. One, if a child acts out behaviorally in a school classroom, there is the ability to either remove that student for the safety of the other students and staff until they de-escalate or whatever, and address it. On the bus, we don't have that ability. And so if a student begins to act out behaviorally on a bus where there are other students, but also that bus is moving at 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, it's a huge safety risk for not just that student, but every other student and staff member that's on that bus. And all we want as drivers is to get every student home safely. So if we speak to a parent and say, hey, this was happening, or if it escalates and we have to pull over and we have to do documentation, please take it seriously. Please address your child's behavior and encourage them, and or give out appropriate consequences so that they do not come on the bus and do that again, and are repeat offenders of unsafe behavior, because we want them all to be home safely.
Thank you for sharing that. I think based on your other comments and thoughts, I think our viewers can certainly perceive that you care about doing the best for your riders, your students. And we thank you for taking time to spend with us on this at this interview. And we certainly wish you the best in your future career as a bus driver. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much.